Okay, so I thought I'll quickly, I went to go over, give me a second. Yeah, I went to go over anything to do with surds, because really, in a non-calculator paper, there are two things which are, you're pretty much guaranteed to deal with, top of my head anyway, yeah? Surds. They can't, realistically, you're not going to get a surds question in a non-calculator, or it's bloody unlikely anyway. So, yeah, make sure you're kind of feeling reasonably solid with surds. And I thought it would be good to use this question because it's going to tell you the one golden, if I can give you one golden rule for surds is you got to break down big surds. Okay, what I mean by this is when you see, you know how something like, say you have root 50, you could break that down to root 25 root 2, and then because root 25 is just 5, you can make it into 5 root 2. You should always do this. Never bother even looking at the question. I mean, this question is all about breaking them down anyway. But even if you get some wild, obscure question, and if you have big surds in there which you're like, oh, I can break that down, do that without even thinking about the rest of the question. I promise you, there's not one question ever where breaking it down even before you start a surd question will ever be a bad thing. It will always be a good thing. So let me get to this. And actually, obviously, look, you gotta, if you don't understand your surds, then you need to. I've got the kind of videos up there anyway, but this is more just kind of like a little refresher for you. So, okay, so they're telling you, they're giving you two different surds, root 12, root 75, and you've got to write it in that form. So you've got to somehow join these things together to one thing. Now, remember, one thing we know is if you have two different surds, say root 5 plus root 7, you cannot add them. Okay, so at first glance, you might be thinking, well, root 12, root 75, they're two different surds. You can't break them down. You can't add them. You definitely can break them down. I didn't need to say that. So here's basically what you've got to do for this. You've got to break down each surd. So, root 12, you want to think about two numbers which multiply to give you that. So here's one way to break. Root 6, root 2, right? The other one is root 4, root 3. But remember, think about this. There's only one of these which is useful, and it's the bottom one. And let's go through why. Because if I just turn around and ask you, without a calculator in your hand, what's root 6? You're like, I don't know. And yeah, that's the right thing. Nobody knows. Root 2, don't know. Root 4, we know root 4 is actually 2. So what we can do is we can, instead of root 4, write 2. And then we get 2 root 3. So can you see, root 12, so we can write this as 2 root 3. We're going to do the same thing for 75. So root 25, root 3, that's one way you do it, and probably the only way you do it. Oh yeah, you can do 5 and 15 as well, I guess. Okay, as you're going to see, root 25 is the one you care about, because that one ends up coming as 5 root 3. Do you see that? Root 15, we don't know it's definitely not a square number, 5 isn't, so that's the way you've got to be thinking. So 5 root 3. And this adds to give you 7 root 3, in the same way that 2x plus 5x would give you 7x. Okay? Make sure you're kind of focusing on your surds, and hopefully that gives you a quick refresher if you were a little bit sloppy.